teacher say that made you walk out of the classroom immediately? Amy, you can leave if you want. That was Ms. Moody, my secondary school chemistry teacher, a woman who lived up to her name. Strict, no nonsense, and not the type you crossed. That day, however, she flipped the script on me entirely. We sat on tall wooden stools in chemistry, hunched over long benches. If you were stuck along the back wall, you had to twist around awkwardly to watch Ms. Moody's demonstrations. That day, I was in the second row of 3. Behind me sat Gareth. Gareth was a tosser, not just your garden variety annoyance, but a full-fledged, self-absorbed, thinks he's God's gift to humanity kind of tosser. He believed the world revolved around him, and worse, that we all thought about him as much as he thought about himself. I, for one, couldn't have cared less. That didn't stop him from trying to get my attention. The whole lesson, he whispered taunts at my back, little digs that I did my best to ignore. When that didn't work, he resorted to tugging my hair. Seriously? Playground tactics? Still, I kept my focus on the lesson. GCSE year was no joke. Then he started kicking my stool. Anyone who's ever sat on a wooden school stool knows they're about as stable as a house of cards in a windstorm. Every sharp nudge sent a tremor through my seat. I clenched my fists, willed myself to ignore it, to focus, to be the bigger person, until I couldn't. In one swift motion, I stood and shoved my stool back, hard. It toppled over, the top slamming directly into Gareth's knees with a satisfying thud. He yelped. I turned on him, face burning with fury, but my voice was steady. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I know I didn't swear. Catholic school discipline ran deep. I do remember being so close to tears that I had to get out before I cracked. That's when Ms. Moody spoke. Amy, you can leave if you want. Her voice was calm, controlled, an outstretched hand rather than a reprimand. Without hesitation, I grabbed my bag and walked out. Just as the door swung shut behind me, I heard her voice transform into a storm. She was yelling at Gareth. I didn't wait to hear what she said. Across the hall, I ducked into the girls' toilets, hands shaking with a mix of adrenaline and frustration. I barely had a moment to compose myself before the door opened again. I braced myself, ready to hide in a stall. But it was Ms. Moody. She had left her entire class behind to check on me. Gareth's an idiot, she said simply. I'll be reporting him to the head of year. Gareth never bothered me again. And I never saw Ms. Moody the same way after that. Strict, yes, but also someone who saw her students. But annoyingly, about 8 years after this incident, a friend I went to school with and then worked with told me that Gareth had fancied me at school. Eye roll. If I was meant to feel flattered, I didn't. I felt angry all over again for what he had done. I mean, seriously, who told boys to be cruel to girls to get them to like them? It is beyond me.